So, hey everybody. Today I have a doctor's appointment where I'll either be getting shots today, but I also have to talk to the head dermatologist or the dermatologist in regards to my cyst on my forehead. Now, I've spoken about my discoid lupus diagnosis on stream, and so I wanted you guys to see what I experience every month whenever I get shots. I'm a little bit thirsty, so my lips look a little bit crusty and everything like that. But otherwise, I'm okay. So I'll be going in, signing in and all of that. And once I'm signed in, then, we will get everything sorted. I have to ask them if I could record. But we're going to go in, and I will see you guys in a few. As you could see, most of the inflammation is happening at the crown of my head. As such, you are seeing a lot of spaces. Right now, I'm not in any pain, but today we are going to see from the doctor whether or not I'm going to have shots. So let's see.
And I talked with Maria a bit because it is a little unclear in terms of the safety of long-term injections. So we do it all the time for 6 months straight. We start to do 12 or 24 beyond that. I've looked at the literature to try to figure out how much gets absorbed, what are the long-term issues with that on bone health or something like that. And there's just not much out there. So there are other systemic medications to be on potentially. So I thought I just wanted to talk with you a little bit about sort of where we're at and other things we could do. How careful are you with good sun protection on your scalp? Are you pretty good about always wearing a hat when you're outside?
Yeah, I always have a hat on.
Okay.
Whenever.
Good. So that's just really important, and it would be worse if you weren't doing that. And even if you go get the mail, I'd throw on a hat. Just if you're outside looking at the water damage. It's good to just make it a habit, and I'm glad that it is. So then the Plaquenil. So you are still on Plaquenil, correct?
Yes.
And how well do you feel like things are going? Do you feel like it's pretty good and we're maintaining it, or?
Occasionally when I get flares, how I know when I'm getting a flare is here will start the lymph node will get really tender.
Really? Okay.
And then I would start feeling like just soft spurts up here. So the clobetasol has been helping with that.
Oh, good. And that's a clobetasol ointment?
Yeah, the ointment, whenever here the other day I started feeling somewhat of a little bit of a flare here because it got tender. I've been using the clobetasol and that helps.
So what do you feel like is active today and therefore worthy of an injection?
Well, this portion here is active. I think everywhere else, wherever I place the clobetasol, it feels a little bit better.
So, and what I recall, sort of where the duskier, a little more dark purple, that tends to be where you're more symptomatic, where it's more active. So I do feel like it's just a little area right there, which isn't a ton to inject.
Okay.
Do you still see Dr. Patel? Do you see Dr. Patel, the rheumatologist? Did you? Okay. So the next step beyond hydroxychloroquine, there are other immunosuppressants, and they do one that involve more blood monitoring, and they can take a couple of months to work well. Things like Scalp, which is usually well tolerated with no side effects. Really important not to get pregnant while you're on it, but a really great medication. There are tons of other immunosuppressants to try. The Scalp is just really well tolerated and minimizes blood tests. But if you're resistant to Plaquenil, often you're also resistant to other immunotherapeutic sort of agents. So, and I'm happy that really it's a pretty focal injection today, so it's not a lot of Kenalog we need to expose you to.
Yeah.
So do you feel like most of your visits is just sort of fine-tuning things? You're doing pretty well?
Yeah, I haven't really been getting that many shots now. Because before, when I used to get a lot of them, sometimes I would not be able to go to work after because there were so many and so painful. So, but now I'm able to get the shots and continue with my day.
So it's more like you're coming in regularly and staying on top of it, and it's not getting bad as it used to be.
Right now, to be honest, it's just my main concern is Yeah, I get the flares, and what is more depressing is the hair situation,
Yeah.
where it's like everywhere else is long, and up here it
Those
just
areas
maintains
are.
that it's just going to, it's like take its time, or I will feel like the hair starts, if I just do this and the hair starts coming out, then I know I'm having some underlying flares. I've been trying to take care of it with holistic ways, turmeric and some other
Okay.
stuff,
Okay.
and those have been helping. And the idea, I got the idea after Maria placed me on some what was that, steroids, prednisone, yeah. And I realized my lymph nodes went down, and I realized, oh, it's some major inflammation. So I've been trying to take like holistic stuff that will help me with the inflammation and stay on top of the
Have you
COVID
otherwise been
stuff.
pretty healthy over the last year or so, other than not having any kidney problems or lung problems or liver problems?
Mostly pressure problems, blood pressure, but it was because I was taking a particular med, and
Okay.
that has evened
Yeah,
out.
and
So
prednisone will definitely raise your blood pressure too.
yeah.
And you're still seeing the eye doctor for the Plaquenil?
Yes.
Sometimes they even say every 5 years, so as long as you're just sort of following their rules, that's
Yes.
okay. All right, so good. So I just wanted to touch base with you because it had been a while, and I just saw so many visits where we were injecting. But it sounds like overall we're just sort of fine tuning. But really, the less we inject, the less systemic absorption there is. So we're not injecting very much at all. So that's great. And I'm glad you like the topical clobetasol, and I'm glad you found some other things to do with help with sort of whole body inflammation. Sleeping well, if we're trying to be natural, is another really important thing. So sleep, the last hour of sleep is when our body goes through some of its changes, which decreases inflammation. So we've known if you're stressed, inflammatory diseases get worse, but now there is a proposed mechanism, which is the end of sleep that helps us decrease inflammation. So if you're not sleeping well, your body's more inflammatory. So okay. So we'll do our injection. I'll just do it the way it was done last time, which means we pulled up 10 and we pulled up a CC of 10. So we'll do that again and focus right up there.
While the doctor is looking over my scalp, let's go over a few things. There are 3 forms of lupus, which is the systemic lupus, cutaneous lupus, and the drug-induced lupus. So right now I'm suffering from the cutaneous lupus, which only affects the skin. So discoid lupus is otherwise known as cutaneous lupus, and there is a 20% chance of somebody suffering from cutaneous lupus to be able to get systemic lupus. As of this time, I am not in that 20%. Now, I tend to keep my head covered to prevent the sun from hitting my scalp, because that could be a form of a flare for me. I stay away from certain chemicals. I use only shampoos that agree with my scalp. I do find out later when, I get a flare, whether or not a certain product that I put in my hair will work with it. Now, the majority of people who get lupus are considered to be of African American or of Hispanic and Asian American descent. Now, you could be diagnosed from age 15 to 45. I got diagnosed at age 22. I started having symptoms after my first pregnancy, and as such, that is how I started with discoid lupus. So, you're just going to see a little bit of what is going on. Hopefully, you're not grossed out. Be forewarned. If you do not want to view this part, you could always skip over it. But I just wanted to be transparent with you guys.
My big kid at 9. But yeah, they were convinced after sitting around so much this morning that they were home all day. I was like, nope, surprise.
Yeah, my oldest was like, they said we gotta come in at 8:30. I was like, yeah, you still gotta wake up at the same time.
Let's see if we have a squeeze ball in here.
It's crazy too. On the weekends, they pretty much do wake up at the same time.
You want
Like
me
they
to
sleep at
squeeze
8,
that?
Okay, thank you.
like 20 minutes later. I think it's just the idea.
As you could see, she's using some ice on my scalp. This helps to take my mind off of the needle pricks. Even after 14 years of being diagnosed for this disease, I still have not gotten used to the needle pricks. I don't think anybody could get used to it. Now, I just wanted to share with you guys because this month is Lupus Awareness Month, and I wanted to share with you guys my story, what I'm going through in terms of mentally, emotionally, physically when it comes to Discoid Lupus. And I wanted to share my story with you guys to bring more awareness to this illness. Um, I may not be suffering as much as the people with systemic lupus because they're the ones who have more of the bodily functions being interrupted by this disease. But physically and mentally, I am trying to cope as much as possible with it. And my way of coping is to be transparent with you guys in my community, letting you guys know what I'm going through. I hide it most times with wigs, I hide it most times with my caps. However, when I'm at home, I have it opened out. So my sons are aware of my illness. My mother, my husband, they're all aware of my illness. And I try to, cope with it the best way that I can. As it's Lupus Awareness Month, as I said, it's time to be transparent, to let you guys know that, you're not alone if you suffer from this disease. Your mileage may vary with how you cope with it, how you deal with it. However, I'm trying to go the holistic route with some turmeric, ginger, lime, oranges, just to see if those natural shots could help me to get me off of those medicated shots. And to bear it all, I have to say, it is a relief to finally show people what I'm dealing with. Hiding, being afraid that it will show, having dreams of somebody pulling my wig off and it shows and they put it on the internet is one of my deepest fears. And so I am trying to overcome that fear by sharing it with you, by letting you guys know that, I'm here. If you need to talk to me, I'm here. I may not have the best mental spirit, but I'm trying. This is my way of coping. This is my way of growing. This is my way of stepping forward and embracing this illness. And I want you guys to know that you're not alone. I'm here, and I'll see you guys later.